Gobble till you wobble. Hey everybody, it is Thanksgiving, which means it's potluck party season. And here at You Cook, we have a bunch of dishes to show you guys how to make. Whether you're going home with the family or staying here for a Friendsgiving, we can show you a lot of cool skills to impress them all. The first dish we're going to try is garlic parmesan potato wedges. The ingredients we have here are russet potatoes, parmesan, paprika, oregano, garlic, salt, and olive oil to toss in. The first thing we're going to do is take our potatoes and we're going to want to dice them up into wedges. That's not how you cut a potato. You're going to want these to be in a pretty good wedge form, and honestly, I think this was a pretty appealing choice. After that, once we get them all sliced up, we're going to put them in our big bowl for tossing. Yep.
What's the best way to cut a potato?
Down the hatch. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know what the best way to cut a potato is.
What do you do? Like, you're cutting them in the middle, but...
Yeah, I'm cutting them into probably 6 or 8, depending on what the potato shape allows me. We're going to want them to be not so thin that it's going to get all floppy and fall apart. We don't want them so thick that they're going to have to be in the oven for about an hour or so. And we also want to make sure the potatoes are about even length and thickness, so that they are cooking evenly through. And while you're cutting the potatoes, don't forget to preheat your oven to 400. One kind of interesting thing about potatoes is the skins actually have a lot of fiber. I know a lot of people, it's a big controversy whether to keep the skins on or not, but I think that's one important thing. And actually this summer, I started being a vegetarian, and I have found that actually potato wedges, deep fried, similar to a wing, very close to actual chicken wings, and it has gotten me through this transition. Toss them in really any kind of sauce you would, either barbecue, garlic parmesan, whatever B-Dubs offers, and you got yourself a good vegetarian option for all my vegetarians out there. Okay.
Nice.
So now that we got the potatoes all cut up, we're going to want to throw in the olive oil to get them all coated up. So you're gonna want maybe a teaspoon or two just thrown in. You're gonna toss them up. Woo! Can't think of a joke about that, but that's funny, I'm sure. And once they all seem evenly coated, you're going to want to throw in your spices. So we're gonna want to add our paprika, salt to taste, that's up to you on how much salt you want in these. Garlic, so we can actually call these what they are, garlic, parmesan, and oregano to add a little herbs in there. So after we get those in there, we want to get the flavors to really meet each other up. They're turning pretty red from all this paprika. We're going to add in the very last parmesan. Toss them together, and then we're going to pan them up. So once we got these all spiced up, we're going to lay them out skin side down. With the ones that are a little more oddly shaped, it doesn't really matter if we can get all the skin side down. We just want the soft bit of the potato closest to the heat in order to cook them all the way through. Another fun fact, maybe not fun, who's to say, but Parmesan actually isn't vegetarian. I had to learn that, so do you. But, you know, sometimes there's just things we have to ignore for taste. So, once we have them all plated up, we can get them in the oven. You're gonna want those in the oven for about 35 to 40 minutes. So, after about 35 minutes, we are going to check on the potatoes and use a fork to check for firmness. I think they're looking pretty good, so I'm going to take them out of the oven now. Okay, and then once they're all out, we are going to add a little bit of Parmesan for looks, and I think that looks pretty great. I'm sorry, I wanted to make the joke. I figured it's better to ask for forgiveness than Parmesan. I'm sorry, we're just gonna make these look good and be on our way. And there we go, looking great. And after these start cooling down, we're going to get onto our next entree. Okay, so for our next dish, I'm gonna be calling in a friend because we're making mac and cheese.
Hello there.
Welcome.
We're going to be making mac and cheese today because it's my favorite and we're you cook. Let's do it.
All right, so the first thing we want to do is butter our pan. So if you want to do that.
Let's do it.
Oh, perfect. And while he's doing that, I'm going to be making a milk and egg mixture. We're only going to need 1 egg and then 2 cups of milk. So for this recipe, we're going to need 1 egg, a box of macaroni. It says 3.5 cups of cheese, but 4 cups of cheese never hurt anybody, and 2 cups of milk. I'm going to start off by mixing up our 1 egg with the milk. First, we want to make sure we start off by boiling the macaroni, but only for 5 minutes. We don't want to overcook it. Okay, so you say you work in a kitchen for about 2 years. Can you do the one-handed egg open?
Only for the camera.
Okay, you win. You're the stronger you cook host. Okay, so once we have our 1 egg, we're then going to add our 2 cups of milk. I might have absolutely thought this bowl was bigger than my 2 cups. So in order to not make a huge mess, I am going to transfer it into a bigger bowl because no one likes a mess in the U-Cook kitchen. So we're going to whisk this up so that it's not too eggy. And once we have that all mixed up, we're going to add our salt and pepper to taste. Again, that just kind of means whatever you like in your own opinion. I personally like a lot more salt than pepper. What about you?
I personally like a lot more pepper than salt. So our pasta's been boiling for about 2 minutes now. We're going to take it off because we don't want it to be fully cooked.
So, once we have that all straightened up, if you can drain it for me.
This boy.
Yep. Let's dry out some mac.
Now I'm going to spill hot water all over the hostess.
I can't wait. That makes good TV. I've actually been on fire before. But that's a story for another time. On fire.
Ah, look at that.
Oh, the mac and cheese is done. Now that we have all that strained out, we're going to pour it into our big old pan. Okay, so once we have it all in our big pan, we're going to add our milky, cheesy, whoop, that's just cheese. Milky, cheesy mixture.
Goodness.
We're going to, I don't know, get this all mixed in together so that no noodle is left alone on the holiday season.
Be sure to spread evenly.
Okay, now that we have this all mixed up, we are going to throw it in our oven that's been preheating at 350 for about 30 minutes. Okay, so for our third thing, we're doing dessert with coconut chocolate macaroons. For this recipe, we're going to have unwrapped caramels, salted butter, chocolate chips, shredded coconut, milk, and salt. And then parchment paper and pan, but we're not going to eat that part. It's fine. First, what we're going to want to do is melt our caramels. And since we are college students, we are going to use the trusty microwave.
You're going to want to put them in for about 45 seconds to a minute.
On top of that, we're also going to want to... What's next? Oh, we're going to want to get our butter to 6 tablespoons.
So full minute was a little bit short, so you're going to want to put them in for another minute, but before you do that, you're going to want to stir them up so that they don't burn on you. So we're going to put the caramel, the milk, and the butter into a full pan together. So we're going to put the 6 tablespoons of butter
and 3 tablespoons of milk
into a pan.
Yeah, so when it comes to melting caramel, what you want to make sure is do it as fast as possible. Because this caramel has been sitting for maybe 1 minute and it is just solid now. But doesn't this make for such an appealing shot? While we wait for this oven to take a normal amount of time to warm up, we can start with melting our chocolates. These guys are gonna give it a nice little like fancy flair of layered goodness. I don't know, it's gonna look good. But we wanna make sure that we get these melted up. We're gonna use a microwave for that too.
We're just gonna use the same thing that we use for the caramels, so that then it's already microwave safe and we know that.
Yeah, we don't have time for dishes. We have midterms or whatever college kids do nowadays. Like, I'm not a college kid.
You carefully pour them into your microwave safe dish.
Wait, but you don't need the whole... That's good. It's okay. Hey.
You're gonna want to put them in for about a minute, or until they're fully melted.
What we're gonna want to do is we want to get a parchment over on our pan because this stuff is going to be ooey and it's going to be gooey and we don't want that stuck on our pan. So, yep, that's ripping.
As you can see, the chocolate had a little bit more to go, but as you stir it, it will melt more.
Okay, so now that we have our caramel, butter, and milk mixture, we're gonna want to add our coconut. So what we're gonna do is out of the 5 cups of coconut it asks for, we're only gonna put in 4. That way we can really gauge how much we need and if we want to add more or not. We're just gonna keep going until he can't stir anymore, I guess. And I think that is looking like enough coconut for that. Yeah. So we are going to bring that over. I don't want to, if you want to just hold it and hover there.
Yeah.
Then we are going to spoon little, droplets isn't the right word, balls.
Portions.
We're going to scoop little portions into it like this. Whoop. Careful, because they will be a little hot.
I want them to be about a tablespoon.
Yep. And you're gonna do this throughout the batch. And then once these are all set, remember how caramel solidifies?
Coagulates.
Ugh. This caramel is going to solidify, making it a much more solid shape. And once that happens, we're going to dip it into our pre-melted mixture over there. These are slowly not being balls anymore. Okay, I think that's about as much room as we have for this.
We got a solid cooking show portion right there.
Never mind, crew wants us to do something else and make it like brownies because we have a lot more extra than we planned. We are gonna just make one absolute unit of these coconut macaroons. We're gonna try our best to spread them out evenly so that they will cool down. I think this way we'll be able to make much more even pieces so that when we share, because sharing is caring, we can all have an equal spot or piece. I don't know. Okay. Well, yeah.
Now it's time for the best part.
Wait.
What?
Yeah, you're right. Go for it.
Jesus.
Do one of those nice, slow Quentin Tarantino drips. Oh, that's just...
Quentin Tarantino there for you. Then after you dollop that on there, you're going to want to smear it all around.
I like a good smear.
Quentin Tarantino.
I hated that, thanks.
And as a little garnish, we're going to sprinkle a little coconut on top.
Because here at You Cook, we're all about aesthetic.
Not aesthetic, aesthetic.
Aesthetic?
Aesthetic.
with a hard TH. Okay, so with that, we are just gonna pop them into the fridge and let these cool down.
Now we're gonna take a test drive.
Oh my god,
It was fantastic.
it's so good.
This is the best college dorm food I've ever eaten.
Okay, so these are really good. I'm so glad that these actually turned out, and thank you so much for helping out.
Thank you guys for joining us.
If cast and crew, you guys want to come out and have a little bit of our treasures, our spoils.
Okay, goodbye.